Well, hello. Morning time here in Memphis. I'm actually burning sage here. I mean, my YouTube channel shows it. Nobody be listening to my YouTube channel. But one of the girls that I talk about asked me for my penicillin. I guess she gonna whoop my ass. If she could stay off her psych medicine long enough not to be asleep, I guess I'll get my ass whooped. But I'm just like, just don't ask me for nothing. And plus, another neighbor like told her said I said something. All I said is she asked me for penicillin. If it's so horrible that you want to shoot somebody, they don't even like. Oh man, like he don't reach for his gun. I wish I had a nickel every time a motherfucker that got brought up being whooped reached for a gun. I'd be a millionaire. you know, it's a damn shame that we do this to our children because that early imprint of that physical, especially physical abuse, which is more normal until you go around people that wasn't brought up that way. You know, for some reason they seem more intelligent. You can have a conversation with them almost on any subject. Um, they like conversation. Uh, they like to get out their ideas, and they don't mind other people's ideas, even if they might dismiss it as you know uh, something that they wouldn't do or that's too crazy or whatever. They might not, they might even tell you, like, you might not want to do that. So you could actually have some good feedback and learn something. Here, unless it's religion in one second and sex or sports, uh, that's about the extent of their conversation and bad mouthing other people, finding fault in everybody else. While they talk about everybody else's fault, half the time I'll be looking at them and I'll be like, you got some fucking galls, like this girl, she's laughing at this one lady. I mean, if she weighs a pound, she's about 600 pounds, and she's gonna check on her mom. She's a good daughter. And the only place there's steps, well, there's two places where there's steps to go up to the houses. One's an empty house, their house. There's steps they go down, and it's hard for her because her legs touch her thighs, rubbing very bad looking. But they're like laughing and giggling, and I'm like, that's the type of people they are. But we do have a problem in our society, um, and it stems from racism. It stems from white supremacists, or it's from white nationalists or whatever they are, Ku Klux Klan, terrorists. Um, and I think what they have done to women, to the black community in our society is horrible, and the reason why it is so horrible is because they start doing this to the children at such a young age, and like, and it's funny because I know people that are 80 years old that are still affected by the ass whooping, and they don't see nothing wrong with hitting an animal, hitting a human being. You know, I mean, this guy is scared of his own dog. And like his dog was barking. I was like, your dog just want to socialize, and like he's like, and I'm not really scared of his dog because I know, um, like they say, a barking dog never bites. But you could just tell from the dog's, expression that it's just hasn't had any human contact, and and they don't take the time out to housebreak their kids. That's another thing. Their kids be going in the bathroom in the bed. Well, never mind. Way past 2 years old. When I was growing up, 2 years old, everybody was going to the bathroom like grown up. Of course, I had cloth diapers. I don't really remember, but you know, uh, and I do remember my mom waking me up when she got up in the middle of the night. Off to the bathroom you went. So, I guess it just takes, as it does with human, it takes you actually taking the time out, 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, which seems like a whole lot of time. But to me, like, cause I remember somebody, I had a dog up here, and they're like, "Your dog's quiet in the house," like they don't see no shit or nothing in the house. I'm like, what type of dog do you think I have? Dogs don't want to live. But anyway, I'm sort of like really disgusted. And plus, like the guy at the store, the woman the Arab guy, they married one of these black women around here, and she's real disgusted. She thinks everybody wants to have sex with them. You gotta understand. I remember when they first started bringing these Arabs up here. First, you know, they brought Africans in right at the height of AIDS, and the Arabs. Well, the Arabs, like him, he looked white. He is white. Um, his kids will be considered white, probably more white than Muslim. Who knows? It's like it doesn't have a thing like, I don't think they have a thing. What religion are you? You know, and that's what a lot of the white Christians like. They want to fill it with white people, but they want to fill it with Christians, not Muslims. And, that's one of the big things they have with the Arabs. But the Christian and Muslim and even the Jewish religion in a way, of course, they all basically are coming from the same book, except for the Jews don't use the New Testament; they're all Old Testament, and um, which is more the history of of a tribe, who begot who begot who, and experience their life experience, and trials and tribulations that they had to go through, and their prediction of the future. And but they all have a way of treating their women a certain way. It reminded me of this story. It's like, and I guess it might have been from like them bringing them up from South America now. The story, not so much way back in Alexander and all those times, like great stories when they were kids. But they like they were so the women and the men both ran around with like really no clothes on in the equator, just something around the middle part. Women have their monthly. Men don't want like when they're running, I guess their scrotum to be flapping against them or something, so they do secure themselves down there. But the rest they're basically naked. And when these white guys came over, millions of them on a few ships from Europe, and thousands of them came out, started raping and slaughtering these people, and I guess they got tired. The whites got tired of slaughtering, and they're watching these men. They don't have a heart on with these women that are naked. They can't understand why not. Because they're walking around with a heart on. If they see two dogs fuck, you know, and they want, like they got to join in. They want to have that good feeling, you know. And plus, you have to understand they're more of a torture, maiming, rapist, murdering society that came over here. They massacred all the Indians and the northern and South America. And one of the guys was like, "I'm a man." And I hear him be like, he is a man. He's not gonna have a heart on it. What I'm saying? He's a man. What I'm saying? Plus, here you are, all around death. What I'm saying? They just killed your mom. They just killed your sister, your brother, your children. You know, you have to put away all your humanity. You have to basically stop being a human. And I think in a lot of ways that's what men are. They stop really having humanity. It's all about the self gratification. Like when I broke my foot, I was off of it. I didn't go to the doctor, but I was off of it for about 3 months, a little longer. You know, it takes a while. And if it hadn't, if I hadn't been able to get it back in place and everything and wrap it, I probably would have went to the doctor. But anyway, and I had a pain from my ankle, went all the way up to my groin, and and like you could be in so much pain after a while, it's just almost like like the throbbing is comes to almost another sensation, which I'm definitely not gonna mistake pain for a sexual thing, but I could see where you could, you know, I definitely see where you could if you're programmed with that way. And but like I know the people around here that got whooped a lot, they're all on pain pills a lot. I don't think she knew that. Well, I told her ampicillin, penicillin, same thing. And I don't think like it, but like I don't think they understand that penicillin is different than me having a pain pill or something like that. Something like that, you cannot stop taking it halfway in between, or oh, 2 pills ain't gonna do you no harm, because that's what her other lady was like. 2 pills, I'm like, it's penicillin. You cannot do that. I don't give a fuck. You know, the shit. All they have to do is all they have to do if they don't like me, is just leave me the fuck alone. That's what I do. But that's not. It's not like they don't like me. It's just that you know their whole experience ever since they was a child is that when they did something, that hurt, that's stupid, that they get punished, they get hit. Anyway, but I see that with very Christian, Muslims, and even Jewish. Like they like the rabbi. If a woman touch him, he gotta go home and prayer. Because like what his pants might drop and he might just throw down to the ground. Because he doesn't have any self control, and that has a lot to do with the way our society is, the way we raise our children, the way we oversex or what. It's just like there's this modern story where they first started wearing bikinis, and they were doing all this report that these rapes was happening, and these girls was going to get ice cream, so it must be the ice cream bin. They didn't want to say that the men had not matured enough in society to have women running around half naked, especially children. So they want to keep promoting the bikinis, whatever. What I'm saying? And the first thing, if you got raped, the police were gonna like, well, what are you dressed like that for? Which sort of was contradicting the other message, that it wasn't because of what they was wearing. It was because they were going to get ice cream, and where they were getting ice cream at, that's where the rapist was. So totally avoid men. It was a big thing. You can look at it, and I think if you take a human behavior class or 101, anyway, it's been a few years. But what I'm saying? They don't want to fault the men for their behavior. Uh, uh, you know what I'm saying? He's just a man. Oh my God, is that a rodent? Oh, that's a rabbit. Rodent, rabbit. Yeah. Well, now we know where some stuff goes. Okay, where did little rabbit go? The seconds are fast. Scared the hell out of me. I know I scared it. We got rabbits. Not for long. They'll be killing them. They'll leave roaches. Well, I don't have roaches, but they'll leave roaches, rats. Anyway, um, but um, but I think that anybody could see this with a lot of religious fanatics. Like you can see the Mormons. They don't have respect for women. And if you're brought up at a very, very young age, and that's the ticket, because if you read anything about uh, how some of these people operate, that they have to get the kid under 5 years old, because if they have any other experience that is different than what they're going to tell, this kid will have hope that that they could change their life. But if this is the only life they know, if this is if this women are brought up that if a man want to grope on you, like if the president of the United States want to grab you by the pussy, you're supposed to smile, ah, and you're supposed to get sexually excited because somebody wants to stick their penis in your vagina. Ah. And it doesn't really matter, like that in the 70s they had like all the swingers and whatnot. It didn't really, um, and then, the 70s, not far after the 70s, well, I think right in the 70s, because I remember Arthur Ashe, the black tennis player, which, they was trying hard not to have black people, and I know I've experienced the tennis, and, you really do have to have a family that is not in denial that you know that there are evil people out here. Well, I'm saying that, and that's the problem with here. It's like the child is evil. Gotta beat that child. Anyway, but that is our society. He's up at the store. He got a wife. He got 5 kids, right? But from what you know what I'm saying. But not him, but his cousin Tony ended up marrying her. His wife's supposed to die. She's supposed to die from the package. Now, it he alive or whatever. But what I was gonna say, these Muslims, they're from Africa part. I do believe. Um, uh, these places are on different continents. Uh, but and that's one of the continents that was noted for AIDS being so rampant. You know, and then like in this neighborhood, when AIDS was really bad in the 90s, they would put down that like they died of cancer. They wouldn't put down the other extending factors. Because people don't die from the AIDS, they die from the immune system being compromised enough that it cannot fight off any other type of diseases or bacteria and infections. You know, so that so that it's just like if say they had cancer but they died of a cardiac arrest, they would just put down cardiac arrest. But the underlying problem that brought on the cardiac arrest was like the cancer or whatever. But anyway, and Memphis is people are very sick. The black people are very sick. They've been um, between the Jim Crow. I know my mom witnessed her her dad dying, um, and her dad had witnessed his father dying. And and here, what I'm saying, and I say really the pain and everything that the people was for generation had been put under. It's been projected uh, outwards, and they strike out outwards instead of solving or having solutions. And I think now that we're at the time that we have to have solutions to bring harmony and to bring healing, especially to the black community. Because they bought into all this propaganda. They could look at football and basketball and see them buy and trade, and like, oh, I wonder what team they're gonna be is gonna buy them, how much money they're gonna get. They don't associate this with any capitalism, with any type of slavery. Here you are buying and selling until they did that one where they were auctioning them all. Then that clicked some things. So there are some things that would trigger, but they don't associate. It's like when you used to get the Webster dictionary and you look up a word and you find out that there's 4 other words that you could also use that would mean the same, and that's just the way it is. Uh, Even with racism, we could give them many different names and label them different way, but the results is still the outcome is still the same. And the history of white supremacists, Ku Klux Klan and all that. There's ones where they were murdering people, murdering black people, hanging them, maiming them, slaughtering them, using for experiments without anesthesia, with anesthesia, giving them syphilis, but not giving them any medicine for it. All this stuff, and the school system is not teaching them. So they're very a sick society, narcissistic society, um, self-degrading society, self-hate society that projects their hate out on their children and anybody else that comes near them. A society that's been trained to call the people with 911 that might shoot you and kill you. How comfortable, how safe do you think? Uh, uh, you know what I'm saying? They've been terrorizing them. They don't even know. They scared of the dark. You know, they scared of this. They scared of that. And these fears was developed before the age of 2, and they are prominent until like the fellow up here that's 80. He's scared of the dark. He's scared of all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he has a son that's sick. He doesn't want his son to come. Never mind. We done lost one daughter to it and getting ready to lose a son to it. But it's something you don't have to be sympathetic to your child having AIDS or HIV when you could fought not society, but you could just fought that one individual. That one individual, the one that probably a victim, you know. Uh, uh, you know, his girlfriend when she found out, she left him. Now your parents gonna leave you? The type of we don't have parents anymore. We have well trained Jim Crow niggers, and let me tell you the white supremacist solution to black people is that they like, oh, we'll just kill them. And there's even a thing with human behavior where they did a study with these anyway. So they ended up killing the bad there's some type of primate um, um, baboon. But anyway, they ended up killing the males off like that. Basically, that they had got into some metal supplies. It's supposed to have been like accidentally that was tainted with tuberculosis. And since they were the dominant and more aggressive and just beating the other monkeys to get the food, they ate it. The other monkeys didn't get it. They died. And the female monkey ended up running good. There was no more fights. Even the males that came in that was aggressive after they found out how the community was, they adjusted themselves too. So you didn't have any outside, coming in that didn't, correct their behavior. And I think that's all we need here. They're not going to have that here. They rather just, like they used to say, well, let the niggers kill themselves. You know. And you might not be going fast enough for them. you know, 'Cause Trump got a few black people that are right there behind him. You know what I'm saying? They'll do the dirty work for him. They'll be looking at like the peaceful people, the FBI. You'll probably have the FBI and everybody harassing the peaceful movement as we have these KKK and these other hostile groups, or hostile people. They're not going to be looked at because they're more acceptable in their society. You know, people that objectifies women. It's just like it was in that bamboo society. So anyway, we got a nice little racist. Look, I'm just like that doctor. He did 8 years. He said these were horrible people before I got here. I have to admit, they are horrible people. There's no ifs buts about it. I don't think the solution of it is to terminate their life. I think you could have a solution the same way before the age of 2, you done trained them to be, sort of here, the way they are, before 5 and 6, they're trained that way. I think you could also boy, it's a lot harder. Those early years, it's like a big imprint. Oh, maybe they can't, because there are some groups that are they're lost, they're hopeless, and then there are very, very nice, interesting human behaviors and psychiatrists that say that behavior can be changed. Not through drugs uh, but for you know, this is a learned behavior, so you have to get introduced and learn new ways to respond, and that's not gonna happen. It's just simply not gonna happen. So those gonna be some kooky supremists like the one they had in Oklahoma that blew up the government building there, and mostly the daycare that happened to be there. It, had a great loss. You know, one child with a scratch in a situation like that, it could be traumatizing to that child. And to lose anyway, many lives as they did, that was horrible. But um, well, it's the way it is in America. Racist, fascist, neo-Nazi pigs.